All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar focused on the Inflow mobile app. We're really excited to have you here. We know that the mobile solutions are becoming increasingly important in the hospitality space, especially for teams that need access to key operational tools while on the go. That's why today's session is all about helping you get the most out of the Inflow mobile app, from streamlining your daily tasks to staying connected to your property operations in real time. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Katie O'Han, and I'm part of the customer success team here at Inflow. I'll be the host of today's session alongside Josh Gibbs, who is our Senior Product Manager of Labor. He will be hosting today's call as well to walk through some of the core features, share exciting updates, and even give a sneak peek as to what's coming next. Throughout today's session, feel free to post any questions in the Q&A section on the bottom bar of your Zoom screen. You will also have the opportunity to raise your hand during our allocated Q&A portion of the call and ask any questions that you have. So I will now kick it over to Josh.
Thanks, Katie. So let me start us off by just talking about what we're going to talk about. We're going to go through why mobile matters, specifically for hospitality and when you're on the floor, who Inflow has built our mobile app for to begin with, and where we're going to be going and the other personas that we're going to build things for later. We're going to give an overview of everything that the mobile app does today, and then we're going to talk about what it's going to do in the future. And then lastly, like Katie said, we're going to open it up for Q&A. But throughout this webinar, we're going to ask you a few questions. We're going to have a few polls. So it's going to be an interactive webinar. We're going to be able to talk to each other a little bit through some polls and find out more about each other. Also, stick around to the end, because when we start talking about the features that we're going to build in the future, we're going to allow you to cast your vote and help shape the future of what we're going to build next. So just stay tuned. So the first thing we need to do is talk about why mobile matters. How is it going to help you be more efficient and make better decisions? So the hospitality industry is pretty fast-paced. It's unpredictable. We've all been there, right? What we know is that 77% of employees at the hotel level say that mobile access would make their job easier. And the reason for that is because mobile helps keep your team agile, it helps keep them responsive, it helps keep them efficient. They're able to just pull something out of their pocket, look up information, make a decision, or understand what's going on and move on to the next thing. Things like your general managers who live on the floor. They shouldn't be behind a desk. You don't want them behind a desk. If you are a general manager, you need to get out there in front of the customers. So we know too that 70% of general managers report using 3 or more tools for labor, scheduling, payroll, and you've probably got way more tools than that, even for your accounting and staying on top of the books, right? With labor being your number one cost, that means that having visibility throughout the day and knowing what the numbers are, who showed up, who hasn't, who's about to hit overtime, who hasn't, really gives you all of that data you need while you're walking the property. Maybe you're in a corporate meeting or you're not even on property. Maybe you're out and about and doing something, running an errand. Just helps you stay on top of things. We've also found that 34% of hotels that are using, or sorry, not 34% of the hotels, there's a 34% boost in productivity for hotels that use mobile workforce tools. So that's the reason why we're getting in the game. We want to make sure that your hotel is the most efficient that it can be, and we want to give you all of the tools that we can to get you there. So that brings us to our first poll. You're going to see this pop up on your screen. Please reply to the poll. You can just click and then submit it. Which of those things that I kind of talked about a little bit would be the most helpful for you? Being able to look at and approve schedules and time cards, viewing labor reports, uploading invoices, or managing PTO requests. Just go ahead, take a second. We'll let you guys reply to that, and then we will look at the results here in just a second. And Katie, when you feel like there's a nice number there, go ahead and hit the button.
Absolutely. It looks like people are still actively voting.
All right, great. Looks like it was pretty even between being able to approve schedules and time cards and uploading invoices from your phone. Invoices is one. So you're in luck. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. Viewing labor reports on the go also seems pretty important to help you stay on top of things. So that's great. Thank you guys for voting. We'll do this again here in a minute. This will help me tailor what we're talking about. So let's talk for a minute then about who we built Inflow Mobile for. Uh, Spoiler alert, it's not just the general managers, right? As you can see here on the screen, we've built this for many roles at the hotel and hotel operations level. And we're trying not to just save you time, but we're also trying to give you back control. So we've talked about general managers, we've talked about some of the features for them a little bit. So let's just talk about why we built this for the general manager. I consider this person the cat herder, right? As I'm sure you guys probably do too. You already know you're not just managing labor, you're managing the chaos of what's going on day by day. And having a mobile app puts key decision making capabilities and information in your pocket. With this mobile app, and we'll go through the details of that in just a second, but you're going to be able to view key data points for occupancy and your labor costs. You're going to be able to view certain approvals. You're going to be able to see how you're tracking versus the budget. And you're going to be able to do all of that while you're walking on the property, while you're up front at the front desk, and you're talking to guests and making sure that they have high satisfaction. So what this is going to do is it's going to help you control a lot of things that you normally have to go back to your office for. And it's going to help you stop overages, overtime, right? Before those things hit payroll and you're over budget. And really, we're just trying to free you up to be in the front of the house and be able to move around and do things that you need to do. The second group of people that we made this for are the employees, the people that are the heart of your team. These are your front desk agents, your housekeepers, even your night auditors, your maintenance people, you name it, right? And they need to be able to see their schedules fast. They need to know when PTO is approved. They need to be able to submit more PTO, and they want to make sure that they're paid accurately. That's what these people care about. And once you get that out of the way, they're able to do their job. They're able to do a good job, do what they were meant to do. And with the Inflow mobile app, that's exactly what we've provided. We've given those employees the ability to check their schedules, see their PTO balances, review their timesheets, and they're not going to have to bother the general manager. They're not going to have to bother executive housekeepers. They're not going to have to go to the front desk or the time clock to see these things. Those things eat away at productivity, especially whenever they're bothering someone else to do it too, right? It's just getting in the way of doing what you need to do. And so what we want to do is we want to empower your frontline staff to take back control of their hours and be able to answer their own questions and give you back time at the operations level, at the HR level, at the general manager level to do what you need to do. And speaking of the ops leaders, the HR people, your regional directors, your owners, what we wanted to do is give you the ability to not have to look at more spreadsheets or run more reports. We've given you the ability to get signals whenever you need to look. So it's not about spreadsheets, it's about signals. And from the mobile app, you can look at that. You can check who hasn't closed the day. You can view reports about multiple hotels at once. And you can even approve invoices and maybe even upload invoices just really quickly. It's kind of like you've got your control center in your pocket versus having to pull out a laptop or go to a computer to figure these things out. Uh, Really, what this is about is it's about cutting down on things that bog you down. It's about removing the barriers to getting things approved on time and cutting down the amount of time it takes to approve things. And we're also giving you more information so that you don't have missing documentation whenever you're trying to make decisions, especially when you're on the go, so that you can make smarter decisions when you're on the go. And so before I jump in and show you guys the screenshots of the mobile app and what it can do and walk you through a few of the key workflows, I want to know a little bit about who you are. So which one of those best describes you? If you're in HR or operations, go ahead and put operations or owner. But if you're not one of those, go ahead and mark other. And the next few slides, that'll help me talk a little bit more about your use cases. All right. Looks like we've got a few general managers, a few employees, but mostly operations and owners. That's great. So we'll go through those first then, and we'll talk about some of those use cases there. And then for other, feel free to ask questions in the chat or at the end if you want to go through some things that might help you out if I don't cover them. But hopefully I am covering those things. So next, let's give an overview of the Inflow mobile app. Let's look at the screens and let's look at what it can do. So first of all, real world use case. You know, you're a regional director, you're visiting a hotel this week, and maybe you're on the ride between properties and you're at a red light because you shouldn't be looking at your phone when you're driving. Or maybe you have pulled over to get some gas or you're getting something to eat, right? And you get an email or you get a message and somebody's freaking out because there's an invoice that hasn't been uploaded and you know that you actually have a physical copy of that invoice with you. It wasn't a digital invoice, nobody emailed you something. You can pull open the Inflow mobile app, which is what you see here on the left side, and snap a photograph. So you can just toss that down on a desk or on your seat beside you, snap a photograph, and then once you've got that in, you just fill out a couple of pieces of information, just like you would on the desktop version, the laptop version of the application. Um, and it's there. It's now inside, and you can categorize it. And the best part about this is you just did that so quickly. And then if there's somebody else that needs to approve it, they can, which is what you see here on the left-hand side with these checkboxes. You can see all of the different ones that are waiting on you to be approved. You can also see all invoices if you're able to do that, see what's pending. You can select multiple invoices at once and approve them all at the same time, or you can tap into one of those, just tap on any one. And on the right-hand side, you'll see details about that. And if somebody needed to see that photograph of that invoice that you captured a picture of, it's going to be attached here and they can look at it. They can add it, add an approval to it and carry on. And the best part about that is that you get those things in there, you understand all of your costs, right? So now your costs are in there accurately. You can hop over to the dashboards of metrics. So you can look at room revenue, occupied rooms. You can look at that across any time period. So that's what you see here on the left-hand side. You can see that daily flash of information. You can see it by days, weeks, 2 weeks, pay period to date, month to date, the last 12 months. You can create a view of this with a custom time period. And then you get a quick overview of all of your hotels. You can tap into one of those hotels. And when you tap into one, you're able to actually see details about that specific property. So that if you're going to that property and you're trying to have a conversation, you actually have information that is up to date in real time. If you're the general manager and you know that that ops leader is coming to talk to you about the property and you're on the floor and you're stressing out because you don't have time to go back to your computer, you can access this same stuff. You get to look at these things. You get to, and if you had that invoice, maybe you needed to get that invoice in, you could have taken that as well and popped it in. You get these same types of things, not just for accounting, but you get them for labor as well. So you can look at your daily flash here on the right. You can look at housekeeping. You can see your cost per occupied room real time right through the app. You can see total hours, total wages, whatever your costs are. And again, you can go into your property or go into a specific property and you can see what those total hours, those total wages, your cost per occupied room, how many you got occupied, occupancy. You can see what room revenue is. All of my data, of course, is just fake data. Hopefully you've got more than $43 in room revenue. Otherwise, the conversation is going to be very, very different. So this is a really cool way we feel to give you that power to not be stuck behind a computer, to be able to access key information on the go, to be able to perform some key actions while you're on the go as well, and cut down on approval times, cut down on those bottlenecks and those roadblocks that you typically see whenever you don't have something like this available. So next, let's talk about some improvements for your employees. Now, there's plenty of things we can track, but there's some things we're not going to be able to track. So let's talk about those. So, let's say you're a housekeeper and you've got a doctor's appointment next week and you want to schedule that PTO time. So you're already up in a room, you just remembered it. So instead of having to get back in the freight elevator and ride down, and freight elevators are always slower, right? You ride down to the front desk, and you either go to a computer or you go to the time clock and you put your PTO in and then you ride back up. That probably took 15 to 30 minutes, especially if you were in a big hotel or you had to walk a really long way. And now you're behind schedule on cleaning rooms. That room can't be put back out for somebody to hop into. And that guest just showed up early and they were wondering if they could check in early, right? So for that employee, they didn't know the downstream impact of what that could take. But if they could have just done it very quickly on a mobile app, they're going to be able to clean rooms faster, right? And so what you can see right here on the left-hand side is the ability to go in, select that vacation or that sick time or whatever type of PTO policy you've got in place. They can select the dates and the start and the end time, and they can submit it. And then they can very quickly see as well what their PTO balances are. If their time that they just submitted has been approved yet, they can see this when they're off property as well. And they don't have to call in, they don't have to ask questions, they don't have to track down a general manager. So again, that general manager is getting time back. They're not having to manage as much chaos, not having to manage as many cats, as the analogy goes. And your employees, they can feel like they're in control. They've got what they need to to make their lives easy, and it's out of the way, so they can focus on the work. They can focus on getting back to the core mission of the hotel, and that's making sure that guests are happy. The next thing is I'm able to, as an employee, understand what is my schedule. So I don't have to go to the time clock. I'm not having to go find a printed out piece of paper. If the general manager maybe forgot to print it out, I'm not having to go track them down and ask them what it is. I don't have to go to the time clock. Again, I can just pull it up real quick and see what's going on. And maybe you've got two housekeepers on the same floor and one of them realizes, oh no, I'm not going to be able to work tomorrow. Could you cover my shift? Both of them could pull up the mobile app, have that conversation right there, and then go down and talk to the general manager. And we're working on some cool features to help them not even have to talk to the general manager later, but that's coming. Or if someone says, hey, I remember that I forgot to punch out yesterday. I'm a breakfast attendant. Let me make sure that my hours are correct. And so you can actually punch into any one of these and view your timesheet. You can see when you punched in, when you punched out. You can see if the general manager needed to adjust or change your time because of an auto punch out. So you kind of get this holistic sort of workflow that's just happening organically while people are already doing their jobs. They're not having to go to a specific location and waste time traveling, right? Or waste time asking questions or having conversations. All of that productivity that I was talking about, that 34% productivity boost, is coming from these things. And you might not think about them as being over the top or revolutionary, but those times add up. And those times are what helps you at the general manager level, at the operations level, make sure you're staying on budget and make sure you're hitting those budgets, right? So another poll, another piece of interactivity here. Which feature would you say that you'd use first if you had access to the mobile app today? Making PTO requests, viewing timesheets, uploading those invoices, approving invoices, or maybe running reports from your phone. So out of those, which ones do you guys find the most valuable? And don't worry, we're going to talk about future stuff here in a minute. This is just what it does today. All right, so looking at this, most of you said approving invoices would be the biggest winner, very closely followed by uploading invoices and running reports from your phone. So that's really good to hear. The reason I wanted to know this is because we've got some features that we're thinking about doing for updating how the camera works on the phone, adding more reports. So this is helping to influence that priority that we'll do. So thank you very much for voting there. We'll use that information responsibly. So that's what the app does today. I kind of gave you a crash course there. There's a few other little bells and whistles that you can discover as you go through it. But really, what we're hoping that you get out of the app on launch day here is that you're able to empower your staff to do the things that they need to do, to request time off, to view schedules, view their timesheets, and get back that time that you spend managing those things. And then we also want to make sure that you've got faster approvals and you're able to make smarter decisions by being able to approve things on the go and have access to those dashboards right from your pocket. And some of the intangible benefits that I was talking about that you can't really measure quite as well, but they're there, right? Is you've got reduced communication errors because you've got the right information in front of you and available to you when you need it. And you've got that financial visibility on the accounting side to be able to see your APM box, to track financial data, and look at that key performance data while you're on the go. And you can just have better decisions and better conversations that way. So now let's talk a little bit about what's next for the Inflow mobile app. So we're working on quite a few things. We have quite a few ideas of what should come next. What you've seen is what you can do today, but now let's look at what's coming next and let's give you an opportunity to weigh in on that. And the reason that's important to me is because we want to listen to you as you're using the mobile app, and we want the app to evolve over time to be the most efficient thing you have. Like when you go home at night, we want you to pull out that mobile app and we want you to be able to say, like, oh, you know what? I've got everything I need for tomorrow's work schedule ready to go, right? Or I understand who's going to be on staff, or I have all the information that I need to make a decision for that Monday morning meeting at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. So some of the things that we're working on are mobile notifications. You'll see that coming next, where it's going to pop up until your schedule's changed, or you've got an invoice that you need to approve, so that you're not having to go in and look at those things and to see if they're there. You're going to be notified immediately. We're also going to be giving overtime at risk alerts so that you can stop those unnecessary overtime risks, right? Your general manager, you can see that somebody's about to hit overtime. You'll get notified and you're like, whoa, hey, you know what? You go ahead and go home. We'll get somebody else to cover those last two rooms that need to be cleaned, right? We're also going to be adding tons more business intelligence right inside the app. You're going to see more charts, more metrics, more financial operations data right there. You're going to be able to do work orders. So, spoiler alert, coming up here for a few minutes for our new facilities module. You're going to be able to track, assign, and resolve maintenance tasks all from the phone. PTO approvals. So just adding more tools for that general manager whenever somebody says, hey, why isn't my PTO approved? Can I have off tomorrow? I've got a doctor's appointment. You can be like, yeah, sure. Boop, done. You're approved, right? And then we're also working at things like linear invoice approvals. So a lot of you said that approving invoices is really important. So that'll help prioritize this. Now that I know that, it'll help prioritize this a little bit higher. So that's just some of the features that we're looking at doing next. And like I said, we are in the middle. Actually, we're near the end of working on facilities management. Some of you may already have access to our facilities management beta. And that's going to have a web component and a mobile component so that people can submit work orders, manage preventative maintenance schedules and things like that. And then they can see all of those things while they're actually out fixing things and not having to go back down to the front desk or radio back down to the front desk and waste time. So with that, now's your chance to weigh in on what you want to do. You can pick up to two this time. What are the things that you think are most important for us to add next to the mobile app? And we're going to use this information to prioritize what comes next to you and what's pushed out to you. So go ahead, take a second, think about it. Don't feel rushed, and vote on what you want to see next. And don't forget, you can pick two, not just one.
Still coming in. I'm going to give it one more second.
All right.
All right.
All right, let's have a look. Looks like notifications for approvals, overtime at risk, PTO invoices is up at the top, along with linear invoice approvals and more business intelligence charts. So this is super helpful. I guess that makes sense with some of the other things that you guys have said in some of the other polls. It's it's consistent. So that tells me that that's the things that we should focus on next. So thank you very much for that information. So what's the next step here? How do you start seeing some of those 34% boosts in productivity, right, with the mobile app today? Uh, Start promoting it to your employees. It's in the app stores. You can download it today. Inflow, we've created emails, which is what you see on the left hand side there, that you can send to your whole company, all employees, all above property people, that tells them what the app is, what it does, and how they can download it. On the right hand side, we have posters that you can put up next to the time clocks so that whenever people are punching in, they can see, oh, there's a new mobile app. Here's what I can do with it. And they can just scan that QR code and they can download it themselves. Uh, Disclaimer, the mobile app is not in Spanish yet. It is only in English as of right now. We have these communications in English and Spanish, but the communications do say that the mobile app is only in English. But we are working on a localization for the mobile app so that you get it in English and Spanish. You can access these promo materials. We can send them out after the webinar as well, so we can send these to you, but you can also access these on the Inflow support site. You can just go and download them and print them out yourself. But like I said, Katie and I, we will send these out to you guys after the webinar. So the next thing to do, go ahead and download it. Download the mobile app right now. Pull out your phone while we're here. Go ahead and start giving yourself that time back. Take a few seconds now to save yourself hours later. Scan the QR code. It should pop open a page that allows you to choose if you're getting this on Google Play or the App Store, and you can download it and log in. And we want to hear your feedback. So as you're using the mobile app, you've told us what you guys want to see next. But if you encounter any issues or have any ideas, go ahead and submit those to support@inflow.com, and we can have a look at those and help you work with the mobile app. So go ahead, like I said, download it. I don't want to make the screen go just yet. I want to give you guys a second to do that. But while I am doing that, you also don't forget that we are working on that facilities module. So if you're interested in having facilities management and being able to do that through Inflow, all in one mobile app, let us know as well. You can leave us a message in the comments. You can send an email to us at support@inflow.com and say, I'm interested in facilities. And then in just a second, I'll give you guys an opportunity to fill out a form to let us know as well. All right. You want to get that mobile app going once, going twice. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go and search. You'll have to do it the hard way with the keyboard. So real quick, for Inflow accounting, really exciting stuff there is we've actually got lots of features in Inflow accounting that maybe you're not taking advantage of. So one of the things I want you to be aware of is today, the mobile app is available to all Inflow accounting customers right now. However, we're doing this as a promotional period only, and that opportunity will go away. So we have different versions of our Inflow accounting software that we are going to only have it for the upgraded versions of that. So go ahead, get the mobile app, try it out, see if you like having those things at your fingertips. And if you do like it, you'll need to upgrade to that new version of Inflow accounting if you don't already have it to keep that. And if you're interested in doing that, go ahead and scan this QR code, and that'll take you to that demo page. You can also use this page to let us know if you're interested in facilities. And how do you know which version of Inflow accounting that you have? Well, if you've had Inflow accounting for a really, really long time, odds are you're probably on one of the older legacy versions. It's only going to have the mobile access for a limited time. If you've purchased Inflow accounting in the last 2 years or so, you're probably on the version that you want to have to be able to have access to the mobile stuff. So you should be good there. All right, I'll go ahead and we can move into the Q&A session. So Katie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Perfect. We have a few in the Q&A chat, but first we have a raised hand from Gunvir. So Gunvir, do you want to come off of mute and ask your question?
Yeah. Hey, Josh, I downloaded the app from Google Play. Doesn't seem to have the functionalities that you had shown on there. I am logged in. It just has three three tabs at the bottom: Home, BI, Accounting, Timesheet,
Mhm.
uh, and don't have access to any of the accounting features. Within accounting, the only thing I have is AP, inbox, and invoice approval and create invoice.
Gotcha. Good call out. So if you don't have access with permissions, and maybe we need to look at your permissions, Gunbeer. So if you're not seeing those things, reach out to us and we can have a look at your permissions to make sure that you get access to those things on mobile in addition to what you can see on the web. So we'll look at that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Thank you for calling that out. Yeah, and that goes for anybody. If you're not seeing those features that I was showing, feel free to reach out and we'll look at those permission settings for you and make sure you should be able to see it.
Awesome. We're going to dive into some of the questions in the Q&A. So from Daniel, the total hours, how is that calculated? Is that for the day on the day or is it cumulative number?
So it's going to be the same way that it's calculated in the desktop version. So if you're looking at it at the day level, you'll see, because you've got those filters to be able to see it over different time periods. So you set the time period, and then it's going to calculate it for whatever it was for that time period. So if you say today, it's going to show you what's been calculated for today. If you pick a time period in the past, it'll be cumulative up to that time. Or if you put a start and end date, it'll be whatever the total cost is between those dates. So it can kind of do all of those things.
Awesome. The next one, can labor features either be hidden completely or set to read only if PTO is managed in another system?
Good question. So yes, we are working on the ability to hide those things. Now, if you'll be able to turn off PTO in the web and on the mobile version. So it's not there yet, but you will be able to do that eventually.
From Pratish, is the app intended for all employees, including line employees, or just management and up?
All employees. So if you're a line level employee, you'll be able to see those basic things like your timesheets, your PTO balances. You'll be able to see the schedule. And then as you are kind of like higher and higher up in the priority and the pecking order there, you'll get access to more and more of the things that you should have access to. So you'll be able to see invoices, for example, if you're a general manager and you want general managers to be able to see those at the above property level. And then as time goes on, there's going to be more features for those different personas. So you may see room assignments coming up in the mobile app, so that if you're a housekeeper, you know exactly which rooms to clean. You might see maintenance orders, and if you're not on the maintenance team, you wouldn't be able to see maintenance orders assigned to you. So we're considering those things as we release features. So it's for everyone. Everyone can get it, and they'll only see what they should see.
Awesome. From Ashley, I downloaded the app. Curious if you can make edits to time punches. I do not see that option.
You can't make them yet. Right now, we've given read-only permissions to those, but we will be adding that as time goes on. So if you're a general manager, you'll be able to edit those time punches right there. And then we also want to put in the ability to contest timesheets for the line level employees, so that you guys can have those conversations and that audit trail of a conversation right there.
Awesome. From Elizabeth, does terminating an employee remove them from the mobile app?
Yes, if you terminate an employee, their credentials will no longer work to log into the mobile app.
Awesome. The next one, will employees be able to view their pay stubs on the app?
Not yet. That's not a feature that we've got built into there yet.
Awesome. We have another one.
But we have thought about it, and we are working.
Awesome. From the same person, Vic, when notifications are implemented, will we be able to choose which push notifications we get? I am an owner and do not want OT notifications, but I do want invoice notifications. Can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, good question. So we will, over time, add more and more permissions for you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not sure if my internet's going bad or okay. The short answer is we are going to make it where the notifications are customizable. So you're not getting notifications for things that don't matter to you.
Awesome. A question, is this available for iPhones?
Yes, it's available on both Android and iPhone.
Awesome. It looks like we have a few more. So from Jigger, we already answered that regarding terminated employees, but will they automatically be logged out of their account if they are terminated?
Yeah, so we have, not to get too technical on it, but we do have session expiration. If you are terminated, you will be kicked out of the mobile app when you try to access it.
Awesome. And then we'll end with one question from Pratish as well. Will the notifications have a red indicator or notification flag on the app like we see on other iPhone apps?
Yeah, so there's two types of notifications. You have push notifications and you have in-app notifications, and those are two different things. The thing that I was talking about first was push notifications, and so those are the ones you see that come in as like the little things that slide down from the top of the screen. That's the thing that's coming out first. We do have a communications inbox feature that we're working on and plan to release that will be the one that triggers the little red dot notifications, and it'll have a little number inside that tells you how many notifications you have.
Awesome. The other three, I think I'm answering them one-on-one. So I sent over some answers and we'll follow up with the rest after the call. So thanks all for your great questions. Um, When we wrap up this call, we will be adding this entire webinar to our knowledge base for you to be able to back reference as well as socialize to your teams. We will also share the promotional material that we went over on a slide today for you to be able to post around your time clocks or have for you to use. Um, and we also would love to hear about any future webinars that you want to hear about. So feel free to click this form link. I'll share it afterwards. And we would love to hear about curiosities you have with Inflow that we can expand upon in a future webinar. Thank you, Josh, so much for such an insightful webinar. We really appreciate all the engagement on today's call and the participation.